is the best way. I think I put it on this big thing because I have a bigger surface to play with, but today we're just doing bright colors like reds, pinks, blues, yellows. I have a big thing of white and black and a little bit of gray. So we're just going to kind of start with this, and we're going to use a lot of your palette knife today, if you have one. If you don't have one, grab a butter knife. So I have a butter knife here. So if I get caught up with something like, I have a butter knife, I can't do that. Well, we're going to do it together. So so what I've been trying to do with the second series of paintings that we've been up to is I've also tried to do something for you guys that's going to include a little bit of drawing. Usually in a painting class, there'd be actually quite a bit of drawing. So so we're just going to do a tiny bit of drawing today so we can get the outline of the butterfly that you see on the other screen going. So I'm going to start with that today. Joe, are you recording?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Now I would suggest doing your outline of your painting with a pencil. I cannot do that because you guys have to see what I'm doing. So I've got this big pen that I'll use, but yeah, it's a good thing to start with something. So butterfly is pretty easy. I like to think of when I'm doing just a drawing before a painting, I think of like oblong pieces, like potatoes, if you will, right? So I'm gonna start with my first potato in the middle, which is a pretty small fingerling potato, right here in the middle. Okay. So and that's the little body of the butterfly. And so your next sort of like part of that is of course going to be his wings. So just outline to yourself like where you want that wing to sort of end. I'm going to have it end up here, sort of in the middle. So we're going to give him a little bit of an idea of where we're going, and just start your drawing up to the top. Up to the top. Okay, nothing like your pen deciding it doesn't want to work that well. This is why you buy Sharp, right? Not other non-Sharpie brands. Okay, here we go. Here's my darks. Okay. All right, here we go. Here we go. So this is where the butterfly is going to go, right? So you've got your little fingerling potato here. Okay. And your wing's going to go up, and then your wing down here is going to do the same thing. Give it a little bit of an idea of where it's going to go. Okay. A little bit of a body, and then the wing's going to go down to this way. Okay. Can you guys see that? Okay. I think it comes out okay. And then in the middle here, the butterfly wings come kind of in and kind of out again. So we're going to kind of make just a little triangle to give them a little bit of a shape. So that's what we're going to play with then, is those pieces. I hope that makes enough sense for you guys. So you've got two triangles on the side of your fingerling potato in the middle, your finger, if you will, right? And then we had two lines up and two lines down. So now we kind of know where the butterfly is going to sort of land in our fun. So I know we're going to use our palette knife a lot, but let's start with just a little bit of white in the background. So let's give them a little background. This is supposed to be a more modern painting. I've gotten some requests for more modern sort of paintings instead of like, tropical scenes, palm trees, whatever. People like the more modern stuff because it's a little easier to do in an hour anyways. So I'm just slapping on some white paint here, right? Just giving it a good coat here because we're going to have a little fun with this in a second here. But let's just go with the white around where your wings will not be, right? So just in your background. And all the way up to the top. Don't forget your little top pieces there. Board's moving today. And then we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. Now, these wings, let's do something here too. I'm going to grab my pen again. I want to do something else. These wings on the bottom, I want to cut off this corner. I think you can see that. So we have a little bit more of a corner here. So let's do that. I think that'll be better. Where's my pen? Okay, so then a little bit of white. You have the white at the top, so grab your white and just go a little bit at the bottom at that little spot where the wings are not. Where the wings are not is where the white is. Okay, gives us a little bit of a background. So now, normally when you're painting like this, you'd probably do the whole thing in white, but we have to do this in an hour. So we don't have time for things to like dry and all that kind of stuff. So we're just gonna have a little workaround here. So we're gonna just add that white in here, and I'm gonna add the white in the triangles too. Okay, and I'm gonna try to keep the white fairly white because we're gonna do a lot of fun color on this butterfly. So kind of keep it sort of good there. One other place I'm going to add white is a little bit on the tips of this wings, the little tips of the wings, just a little bit of white, just throw it out there. So you want, what this is going to do, kind of the point of this fun painting, is it's going to focus a lot of energy right in the middle here. We're going to focus on this little guy right in the middle, and then we're going to focus a lot towards the middle, and then everything's going to kind of like get light as it goes, right? So now we have a little white that we can make it a little bit moister, or like, you know, really kind of junk it up with a little white, because we're going to pick up the colors onto the white, and then it'll be more fun. And it's going to make it lighter for us, right? We don't have to worry about that part of it. Okay, so we're doing pretty good there. So I'm not going to start with the fingerling middle guy. We're going to start actually just in the very base. So what I'm going to start with is a fun like blue color. So I'm going to grab my palette knife. Now, I have a palette knife that looks like what you're probably using, right? Here we're going to, let me just, so I can see myself a little bit better. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I have a palette knife that looks like this, but if you have, it looks like that. If you have a palette, if you just have like a, you know, a butter knife, a plastic butter knife, that'll work too. So let me just grab this one. Now this time I'm going to grab some blue here. I'm just going to grab a little blue on my knife, just like that, just grab it on. I'm going to take it and I'm going to just squish it on. I'm going to squish it on. Look how fun that is. Squish it, take it all the way out to the white. What the heck? Give it a little marriage. And I'm going to grab a little bit more. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just take it. I'm going to squish it. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you can, though, stay within your lines of your wings. So that gives it kind of a fun start. So once again, just pick up some paint on your palette and just go for it. Like squish it. Squish, squish, squish. So this is the kind of painting where it's fun because you have all those little palette knife marks are actually what you're going for. You know, we're not trying to make this perfectly smooth and trying to make leaves that look real or whatever. We're trying to get an idea of what a fun butterfly looks like. I'm like going right to that white. So, okay, we've sort of started there. So I'm going to give him a little more color right around the middle. I think he's going to be very colored right near the middle, right? So I'm just going to give him a little extra, just a little extra. Okay, so we've kind of got started on what we want. I'm going to pick up a little more. I'm going to pick up the red, I think now. And you can clean your palette knife if you want. I'm going to clean it because I don't think it's get too muddy. So this is where to have nearby is your water and a paper towel. I cannot imagine, to be honest, ever painting without a paper towel. It's like the most important thing. Okay, so I'm going to pick up my red here, and I'm going to just go in. Once again, I'm going to go high this time. I'm going to go high up. I'm going to go against that line. I got to cover up Sharpie marks. You guys don't have to do that. So, but I'm going to take him up, and I'm just going to, you see at the end where it gets all like light? That's okay, because that's what kind of what we want. In fact, I'm going to even pick up a little white up here and stretch it out. Once again, you want that palette knife look. I'm going to grab a little more red and just go right over the blue and onto it. And you got these fun palette knife marks. Super fun. And it's starting to marry with the blue, look really fun. Okay, and we grab a little more red again, okay? And we go on this side. I'm going to do the same idea. Just squish. Squish your paint. Squish it. Are you guys doing okay with the knife piece? Or is it hard? I got to go on the other side here. Okay. Squishing, I'm squishing. Now I'm getting all this fun motion almost, right? Perfect. Now it's going to squish into the blue. I'm going to go take it all the way to the top. But squish it in the blue, squish it in the white. Super fun. Okay, I'm going to grab some more red. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to do that same idea. Just, I don't want to be too matchy-matchy, but you know, if you've looked at a butterfly, they are a little matchy-matchy. So we want to give it a little bit of realism. So I'm just going to kind of leave that kind of funky and fun and do this down here. Oops, I need a little more paint on my, that's one thing with palette knives, you do need a little more paint. Hopefully you guys, you know, are able to hit a a paint store after, you know, after everything reopened. And I was okay, that's it. I was certainly challenged with that problem. I was like, I'm running out of paint colors. Okay, so here we go. So we're just squishing that red down and making it fun. Hopefully you're getting these fun, like, imperfectness, right? Because that's kind of the idea of this painting. Okay, so the real intense colors are right here in the middle. So I'm gonna sort of think about what those are gonna be. There's gonna be like really dark reds and a little bit of blacks and maybe some blues, right? So let's start with the underlayment part of that, and let's pick up some yellow. I know I'm gonna need more yellow. And let's go, same idea, let's go right over kind of part of that blue and into that space. Now remember, you've got a little triangle there of white, so stay away from that. Let's give this yellow a place to have some fun. All right. Palette knife yourself. Look at the fun, like, oddity that you can make out of this. Okay, so I say that I am going to need new floors after painting classes for 12 weeks. I have to have a new floor plan. I have a drop class, but it's not always good enough. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, I think that looks super fun. All right, I'm gonna add a little more yellow because I didn't quite get enough here today. And I'm gonna do that other side, same idea. So we're doing what's sort of like intensity, like layers of intensity, which is not our normal. Normally we kind of do a layer of intensity underneath, and then we kind of go lighter on top because we're trying to give depth. And here we're just trying to layer lots of intensity all over the place. Okay, once again, here's your palette knife. Just pick up a little bit. If you can get like an inch or so and just squish it out. Make it fun. Make it marry into that blue a little bit and give it some ideas there. I love it. Okay. Same with this. Because I'm not going all the way to the potato there, because the little middle section there, because I know that we're going to do some really intense colors right there. So I don't need another layer if I don't have to. I'm gonna give it a little more yellow here in the middle. Now that I have some on my palette, give it some yellow. Okay, good stuff. You're probably noticing, oh gosh, you know, I didn't clean my palette knife super well between things, and it's kind of squishing all these different colors together. That's called awesome. So just go with that. This is gonna be one of those paintings you're gonna love when it's done, but in the middle you're like, oh my God, what are we up to? Okay. And that's okay. All right. Stay with me. We can do this. Okay, so now I'm going to add, do you guys have purple? Or not purple, do you have pink? If you have pink, I am going to add pink. If you don't have pink, you can do red and yellow and make them pink. Red and yellow, listen to me. Red and white, it makes them pink. And maybe even add a little bit of blue to give yourself that intenseness. So I'm going to add this pink right down here. Oh, wow, she's really bold. And I'm going to kind of go right up to the edge of that white, because I want to keep that white for now. But I'm going to give her some fun pink bottom layers here. Once again, squishing it down and letting it kind of do its own thing against this canvas. So when you run out of paint, it kind of makes those fun trophy marks. So that's fun. Now, if you have a small canvas that you're working with and you're lucky on that, you might even get lots of like marks where there's like heavy paint. That's absolutely cool. I'm working on kind of a big surface, so I'm not going to get that. But okay, I know this is red here. I'm going to add a little yellow on top of it. I mean yellow. Gosh, what's wrong with me tonight? Pink. Nice little pink on top of it. Give it some fun pink on red. I'm gonna really kill off some fun color combos today. And I think I'm gonna do a little pink right in the middle, right here. Once again, fun palette marks. Oops, kind of went into my little white spot there. That's okay. Let's not go crazy. All right, a little bit over here. Okay, we have really got the makings of a good painting here. You see, I'm making a mark to the outside. I don't know if I quite thought about it until I started doing it, but I'm mostly going from inside out, inside out. I'm not going in, right? I'm going out constantly. Kind of helps when you're working on a more modern painting. Really helps to like have some sort of interesting consistency, you know, to go with all the oddities that you're up to. I think when you're doing a consistent thing, when you're squishing all these colors together, and that's what makes a modern art painting look intentionally unintentional, which I think is really helpful. So we kind of did that when we did that popsicle painting. It was like we're adding, but we're also using like the same technique. And this is what we're doing here. So I'm going out, and making the motion, if you will, of these moving pieces. Okay, so I'm now going to add a little bit of blue, a darker blue. I'm gonna clean my palette knife. And I think I'm going to grab a brush. I'm going to grab a brush for this little piece. And find the brush that I want. Left in the kitchen. Okay. Here's one that I like. Okay, I'm going to grab this brush and I'm going to grab a little bit of the blue. So here's the blue here. We just got. I grabbed a brush like, I don't know, like sort of smallish, to be honest, a little bit smallish. But I think this will work kind of fun. So I think what I'm going to try to do is give a little bit of an outline here of what I'm doing. Just on top of the paint we have, just add that blue. Give this butterfly a little bit of standing. And go right over that red. So now you've got this like purpley red kind of thing happening. I'm not going to do that in the bottom as well. I'm going to give him a little bit, just something to play with here on the blue. Yeah. I like it when it marries with the other colors. The white though, Katrina, just stay away from the white. Don't do that. And I'm going to do that on my little bits here too. And just so I have a little bit of an outline of where we're going. We're going to kind of go over this a little bit, but that helps a little bit, I think. Now I've got a little bit down here I got to do. A little bit down here. Okay. Okay, good. All right, back to the palette knife. I want to create some orange. So grab, most of you don't have orange and I don't have it either. So I'm going to have to grab a big thing of red and I'm going to put some yellow right into it and I'm going to mix them together. I'm going to make myself some orange. So if you don't have orange, like most people, then it's time to do a little mix. So I'm going to grab my palette knife from before. And so as you can see here, I've got those two colors right here. And I'm just on my palette, I'm just going to squish them together. And I want a really fun, intense orange color. And I'll tell you, what usually happens is that dominant color, the red, is a little too red. So I'm going to add a little bit more yellow. So sometimes I add more like 2/3 of the light and 1/3 of the dark. So this is one of those times, which that makes perfect sense. Oftentimes, the blue that we use or blues that we use are so intense and they really almost wash out everything. You got to be really careful when you're mixing colors and you're using those darker, intense colors. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna make that, squish it together and make that really fun orange. Okay, now the orange, what I'm gonna do with this orange is I'm gonna do him from about an inch over from the fingerling, right? Just gonna add him right on top of those colors we already did. Look how fun that is. Not too much on your palette knife, just enough to squish some colors down and give, oh, that orange is so fun. Okay, here we go. Oh, wow, yeah, that's awesome. Move him up into the interlanes. Now I'm getting some like layers underneath that are coming through. I love that. Okay, so here's a little bit more orange on this side now. It's kind of like I said, about an inch in from your main guy there. And this, I'm taking this all the way out to the edge too. And on top of that blue and next to that yellow and really adding that color, really super bright, super fun color. Yeah, now we're talking about a yellow, yellow and orange. So I'm actually gonna pick up a little yellow on the edge. It's really because add it right onto the top of that orange because it's gonna mix in, right? Once again, one-sided strokes. Don't try to go two-sided. One stroke over, over, over. There you go. Over, over, over. Awesome. That looks super fun. Super fun. Okay. So I am now going to add, let's see, let's add some of that darker blue on your palette. So I'm not even going to wash my palette because it's already like full of stuff, right? And I'm going to go right here into the middle, right next to the potato. And I'm going to just scrub it in like that. How cool is that? All right, a little more blue on the other side. Scrub it in. Dark blue on top of that light blue. Oh my God, look how fun that is. And you move your palette even further. It's like, wah, sprays everywhere. Oh gosh, all over my carpet again. Okay, so I'm actually gonna take a little bit more, I really love that. So I think I'm gonna take a little bit more up here too. Just move it up so it gives it a little drama. And it also helps to that line that we draw is, what to me is a little bit heavy. This kind of helps take it away a little bit because this is the same color. So I'm just going to kind of give that splash down here. So I picked a butterfly today because I don't know if you've been outside much, but there's so many darn butterflies right now. It's so amazing. So if you're going on a walk, your afternoon walk or whatever, if you get a chance to go actually in the middle of the day, that's when butterflies seem to be the most active. There are so many butterflies right now. So like enjoy them. They're fun. Okay, so remember I asked you to add a little bit of white onto your palette. So we're actually gonna add just a little bit of white now. I know this is kind of crazy because it's gonna be super light on top of very dark, just a little bit of white. So here's my palette, just a tiny bit, just on the edge, I'm gonna come up here, I'm gonna add that white. I'm gonna give him a little bit of a, you know how with like monarchs, they have like black spots or white spots in the middle of them. We're going to do the same thing. And it's going to pick up all those other colors we've been using anyways. Look at that. It's kind of like a spot and those other colors come right through. It is so fun. I'm going to add a little right here like that. So much. Once again, moving to the outside, only moving to the outside from the middle. I'll do that over here too. Give them a little, that's one thing about butterflies is they are symmetrical, right? So we want to think about that when we're making one. We want to think in the symmetry family. Okay. I had a little bit too much up there, so I'm going to add a little bit less down here. Just go right over that with a little bit of white. How cool is that? Oh my God, I love that. Okay. I think I added a little bit over here. So just do the same thing. A little bit here. Once again, I'm going to scrape it through so you can see what's underneath. Well, I don't know about you, but my butterfly is looking pretty awesome. So here's what we're going to do next. Let's do a couple of things. So this white background is really, really stark white. So I'm going to add a little bit of gray to this background, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of white that's a little dirty too. I'm just going to kind of go give him a little bit of gray. Just make that a little bit, add a little white, add a little gray, or even a little bit of blue would be okay. For like, just scrape up a little bit of color into that white that we did. I want it to be just stark white. It's kind of like childish, if you will. But even my white is all like dirty already. It's got like stuff in it. It's kind of like dirty my white is. I'm using the dirty white just to go in here and add a little bit of color, but not much. We want to maintain the white because we want this butterfly to be its like fabulous self, right? But we want to try to give this background, have a little bit of personality to the background. You guys know I love a good personality background. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same down here. Just give them, I'm gonna add those crazy bright colors. I want the grays, I want like a little bit of light blue at the most, and just give him just a little bit of a shot of that palette knife feel to him. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so so a little bit of, you can put a little black in your white. Here's a little black here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just add it into your white right there. And you've got a little gray, and you can add a little white and just pick up a little bit, a little tiny bit on the edge of your brush or your knife. And add a little here. I'm gonna add a little in the corner pieces here. These little triangles that we added right down here. I'm gonna go over that. You know what I'm not loving is I'm not loving the outline, the blue outline as much. I'm gonna go over some of that blue outline and try to like smoosh it out. To me, he's too outliney. And you know, in a modern painting, you want really like, we're really doing impressionistic work today. So the outline says we're not being impressionistic, we're being more thoughtful. I don't want to be that thoughtful. I want to actually have a little bit more fun with what I'm doing. All right. Okay, that looks okay. Now it's not so outliney. Okay, we do it over here too. So I'm just kind of covering up my outlines a little bit so they're not so intentional. Okay, let's go and move on to the potato in the middle. Why do I keep calling it potato? You know, I made a ton of potatoes this last week. That's probably why I'm in a potato mood. It's the body. We're going to do the body next. That's what I mean to say. You guys don't know. Okay. Do you like that? I think that's kind of fun. Oh, I missed a spot. I missed this little triangle over here. Let's get him some color. Just a little gray white. Color is all over this. There we go. Yeah, he's better. Okay, so the body of this guy, I think I'm going to start with a little bit of black. So I'm going to put a little black on my dirty palette knife, just a little bit of black. I'm just going to give him a little bit of a black start. So I do want him to show up on here as something different than the wings, right? So let's give him a black base. Once again, so when I first started, I'm going to get a little history, a little Trina history here. I first started painting in acrylics. I could not use a brush because it was so contradictory to how I was doing my watercolors. And so for me, the answer was to do everything with a palette knife. And I loved it because it's a real freeing instrument, right? Just squishing stuff and moving stuff around. And it's all supposed to be semi-impressionistic. So I've really loved using a palette knife, and I've used it very rarely with you guys because it's just a starting class, right? But now you get it. Like, it's just so easy to like be interpretive with a palette knife because you can't be super specific. So I hope that kind of helps with you guys on thinking about what you want to do on this. Okay, so here's our black. And then let's add a little bit of the one color I've got out of my palette right now. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in the middle of him and just give him some dots of yellow. You can do this with your brush, or you can do it with just the tip of your palette knife. So I don't know where my brush is anymore, so I'm just going to use it for my palette knife, and I'm just going to go in here and just give him a little. I'm just going to give him some dots. I'm actually going to give him a little texture, like dotty texture. Once again, these are all very wide strokes over here. And so I want the middle of his body to do something completely different. So now I'm giving him like this textured middle body piece. Something totally different. So yeah, lots of palette knife experience. In fact, one of the only paintings I have in my house that is an acrylic is done with all palette knife, just different. I like different. And since I struggle with my favorite medium, which is watercolors, it's fun to do something totally different. And when you're going to switch to something, then why not switch entirely, including your materials? Okay, I'm going to add just a little bit of orange on there for giggles. Usually, that looks really fun. See how the middle looks nothing like the sides? I mean, that's what we're kind of going for. So you guys know my dab, you know, technique on some of the other things that we do when we're making like leaves on a tree or something, dab, just dabbing. He's getting really juicy and fun too. Okay, so I'm gonna make a couple antennae because he kind of needs them. I think I'm gonna use the light blue. So here's my light blue. It's really light. I don't know, we just don't, that light blue that we used earlier is really hidden under there. So I'm gonna give this guy like a little bit of antennas if I can. Let's see, I may have to grab an actual brush for this. Maybe not. Some antennas. They don't have legs, they do have antennas. Okay, give a little bit of an antenna. I like that. Makes me happy. All right, I'm just going to go around and just make a couple of corrections here. I've got going. Once again, I was over my Sharpie markings there. Okay, looking pretty good. Okay, so I'm actually going to go in now with a little bit of gray. Once again, if you don't have gray, the white and the black together make that really fun gray. I'm going to gray out a little bit on the bottom here, right over the pink that we did. You just grab a little gray and go right over the pink. I think this gives a little bit of scale to this very pretty pink color underneath there. So also, modern paintings, oftentimes, I was looking at modern paintings today, things that I wanted to do for you guys. And some of them are so dark and grays and blacks and whatnot. And I'm like, oh God, I can never do that. but I do understand like the need for like a little bit of like pulling something down a little bit too, like this overly crazy. So I'm just adding a little bit of gray here, giving it a little bit of an impression of that of a moth almost, on that mothy gray. So just giving it a little bit more of another texture. Looks pretty good. One little area we haven't really done much with this is like right up to his little body here. And I'm going to add a little gray to that too, a little white and gray. So I don't want this to be. Do caterpillars have legs? I don't think they do. They just have the antenna. Or maybe they do have legs, you don't see them. Okay. Just look at my timing thing. Oh gosh. Okay. There we go. All right. So you guys, I feel like I'm kind of done. How do you guys feel? Maybe I should look at what you guys are up to. So, okay, let's just kind of work on our little outlines here real fast. And let's look at some of your colors. If you want to add any, like another stripe, you're really into pink right now, and you want to add a little bit of pink or whatnot. Add a little bit of pieces. And then in a couple of minutes, I'm going to come around and look at what you guys are working on. So let's see what you guys are up to. I'm going to add a little bit of pink onto mine. Got really, I too, when you're doing things that you guys are a little bit lucky because you're probably working on a flat space. And when you're working on an easel, it's sometimes I need to step back and really get a look at what things look like from above too. So because I feel like I'm missing stuff, like right here, I'm missing like a little bit of color. So, and I like really squishing colors together too. And some of these areas are really don't look quite as good, or they're you can still see the painting I did last week underneath there. So I'm just going to try to make those wide, once again, stripes out to the side. And make sure I'm getting the integrity of these wings and make sure that they work for me too. So, let's make it a noise. Okay, I feel pretty good. I feel like we've got something going here. Now I'm not loving the white that we added. And I'm going to add a little bit more of that blue just to make it fun. I hope you guys are enjoying using a palette knife. That's the one thing I was really trying to get today was like, let's go palette knifing. It's a sport. Okay, so while you guys are working, I am going to look at what you're doing on my other screen here. Oh, there we go. Let's see here. Okay, there I am. Okay. All right, so what do you got here? Who wants to show me what they've got?
I will show you baby's first painting.
Okay, good.
Oh, we got another one though. Check that
out. Oh, yeah. Okay. I will look at Lori's first. Okay. Then Hagen, I'm going to come to you. Lori, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Nice work. Yeah. I mean, you could go a little, you sort of went with me a little bit on the outlining, and I would say like now you want to cover the outline with more strokes going down. That'll go all the way out. So that'll kind of get you away from that sort of cartoonish look and get more into an impressionistic look. So, but I love the middle, how it's very different from the wings. That works really well. So yes.
How do I have such light colors? How do I make that so that it's not so liney line?
Just cover it with some pink. Cover it with a little bit of white as you're going through it.
Got it.
So, but I like it. Yeah.
Your daughter needs to take the class, Lori.
Yeah, I know.
On Facebook, so she needs to come and be a regular. I'm going over to Matea. Oh, I like Matea.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. I can see. So that's obviously your background. So Matea, same thing. So you don't have the outlines, which is great. So, but I would say, let me see it again.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a bunch of things I like about this. So I, just like you added the white later like I did, cover that up with some more fun colors. Don't forget to add some antennas that you can see so that it looks more like a butterfly and not a butterfly. So, but that's really great. Do you have something there, Morgan? You want to show yours? There he comes.
Okay. Oh, Morgan.
I like that, Morgan.
Really good.
I like all the palette marks on yours. I think that makes it look really authentic and impressionistic. So I think once again, like me, maybe add a little bit too much white at the end. I liked it and I didn't like it.
Yeah, I think I need to go over the white again because it's. I try to smear it out, but I'll smear it some more.
Yeah, cool. All right, good. Okay, and then I missed Hagen. I think I missed you.
Hagen, want to share?
There she is.
Ooh, let me get you, Hagen. Let me do your spotlight. Here we go. Ooh, look at that.
That's awesome. That's really, really good. Yeah. I love your kind of how they just kind of did their own thing. I love that. You know, you did a great job. I love the white on yours because it looks more like a moth and whatnot. So I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
Great. All right. Bree and Frank. Oh, that's great.
I don't know how to fix the background.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of messed up. It's too distinct in some places and bleeding into the butterfly too much in the other.
Give yourself that palette knife and really squish the paint out to the end, you know, because I think you've got a good start there. No, I like the colors, and you cut the intensity of the colors, which is like, whoa. I mean, like in comparison to some others, it's really intense. So yeah, just keep adding layers onto this. The beauty of this is this like fun layered, you know, textured kind of painting. So good job. Really great with the colors. Okay. All right, good. All right, I'm gonna kind of keep working on mine. It's funny, you know, because I'm looking at my own painting on the screen. I'm realizing it's a little bit lopsided with color. So I'm going to go on to my left side and do a little bit of color. So stay with me.
Yeah, one side's a little more intense than the other, Trina.
Well, it's hard when you're on an easel, you know, and then you're left-handed, right-handed, whatever that means. Okay. I'm going to go back to this inspiration painting. There we go. On this side. Yeah, so that's great because that's I like making my own mistakes. Makes me happy. So because then, you know, I'm really, you know, I'm learning with you guys too. And when it comes to stuff like this, you know, when you're talking about impressionistic painting, you're not talking about perfection, and that's the best part. So let's go and touch up. So as you guys are touching up, I'm going to touch up. So yeah, I see it now. I just had to cross the street here and cross over to the side. And that's fine. So I'm just going to remind you guys with the palette knife, like once again, like you want to just, pull up at the end, so you're not getting like super, super strong marks with it. You want to kind of like fade out, with it. So that's going to be helpful. Yeah, I see that now. Okay, I want to do a little bit more intense color up there too. So I'm going to I have this funky thick red. I'm going to add, I think, up here. Give that some motion. Yeah. So yeah, you guys, if you haven't gone yet to a craft store to go buy some paint, it's a trip. I highly suggest it now that you guys have gotten some time in this class to add and have some fun with some new colors or whatnot. So I have some fun colors I haven't used with you guys yet, just because they're not always common, like purple or teal or whatnot. So, but if you feel like you want to pick something up, that's fine too. Here's two where I want to. So we didn't add any green to this painting too, or very, very little, right? Is if you have something that you found that you want to paint, I want to see that too. So I'd love to, diversify it in a way that makes you guys happy. Like, oh my God, I saw this really great painting. I took a picture of it and sent it to me. And then we can decide if it's something that we can work on together, or if you guys want to work on it privately, that's fine too. I can sort of help you figure out how to start something like that. That might be a fun thing too. I do have a painting for next week. I'm going to show you in a couple minutes here. If I stop messing with my painting. That'll be fun. So I haven't finished the painting. Surprise, surprise, because sometimes that just doesn't get happening. But it's a fun subject. I think it's something that people sometimes do in those like paint and sip kind of parties or whatever. So I think it's a little simplistic, but I also love the fact that we can kind of get started on this painting for next week in the class, and then you can literally you can just keep working on it like all week if you want to, or you can finish. So totally up to you. Add a little pink down here. That's better. That's a little more even, I think. I could totally see this in a bedroom, or even in an entryway, because it's like, welcome to my house. That's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, pretty impressed. I hope you guys had fun with this one. Yeah. All right. Okay, I'm going to do one little quick thing here, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do next week. But like I said, if you find something in the meantime, please just email it to JoJo. I'll get it out to you. Happy to do it. I know I had some ideas before I got started with you guys about things that I wanted to do, and I got them. We got to get them done. So why shouldn't you have the same opportunity, right? Okay.
100%, Trina. I think sometimes we're in the beginning, we were like, okay, here, let's do this grease painting. Let's do this sunset. And now we're like, okay, we've done sunset, we've done grease painting. What do we do? So this was fun. I think a lot of parents, I sent this out with the butterfly. I showed Bree, like, oh, I got to get home and do the butterfly. So I want to, Hagen, if there's we love the starfish. If there's Hagen loves sharks, is all I have to say. If there's a shark or a fish that you want to do, let's paint something you want to do too. And Matea and your family and Lori, let's all come up with ideas of things that we want to paint. Trina can do a little research and then create that 1 hour tutorial for us. So keep painting away. But then
on the second screen there, you can see that's what I've started, which is like a tree sort of going through like a sunset or a sunrise. So I'm going to show you the close-up of that because I've just started it. It needs a whole bunch. I'm just going to go on this screen here. It needs a whole bunch of more birds and more stuff. This is really small, because I'm always copyright infringing on all this stuff. So let me just see if I can pull it up on here.
Don't put that on video. Don't say you're copyright infringing on video.
Tiny bit of infringement. Tiny
Found
bit.
it on the internet randomly.
Okay, so on the main screen here, you can see this is what the painting looks like. Okay, so that's
Okay.
so pretty fun, right?
Right.
Pretty intense. Also pretty impressionistic. So a little bit hard. So it's gonna take a little bit more time. We have in a 1 hour class, but I think that'll be fun for you guys too, because I'll go ahead and send you a picture of this, and then you can just add in more birds as you're going. So, but I'm very proud of you guys. This is a great painting for today. I know I could put this right up in my house, like not a problem. So super fun, very intense. So, all right.
Does anybody have any questions for Miss Trina before we end session?
Yeah, add this one for next week. Next week's.
No one's raising their hand. Okay, they're all painting. They're all busy painting.
I know. All right, just keep remembering when you've got that palette knife, just to squish it over and pick it up as you're going, so that you get these fun scraggly marks at the end. That's what you're really trying to go for. I don't know. I'm gonna move my camera really close for a second here, and I'm just gonna show you some of the texture that is here, right? I mean, really lots of texture. And that's what's really making this painting sort of like do something different. So
Yeah, let's paint on there.
I just.
yeah. All right, cool.
That was
All right,
fun.
guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Trina.
Have a great day. Don't forget to sign your painting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, signing off. Thanks, guys.
Bye.